Good day and thank you for returning to MMA Alerts. First up today, Jon Jones's reaction to the revised pound-for-pound rankings. A lot of people were arguing about where the UFC stood in terms of pound-for-pound rankings before Jon Jones' encounter with Stipe Miocic. Despite the fact that Dana White had Jon Jones fight since March of 2023, fans and voters still had Islam Makhachev and Alex Pineda vying for the top slot on the UFC's pound-for-pound ladder. Please hit the like button on the video before we go any further, it will much appreciate it. Following Saturday's victory against Stipe Miocic, Jones moved up to the 2 spot in the UFC's active pound-for-pound rankings. Despite comments from Instagram stories by Dana White and Alex Pineda claiming that Jones should have been crowned pound-for-pound king, Jones was content to be ranked second. His reaction to the news that he is 37 years old and ranked number 2 per pound was published in a post on Tuesday. "That suits me well." A powerful body kick from Jones ended Stipe Miocic's fight, but it didn't impress Matt Brown. He said that Stipe Miocic didn't look good in the octagon on the most recent episode of his show Fighters vs. Writers with Damon Martins. He appeared both athletically unimpressive and old-fashioned. "The truth is, I think he saw past his age. Straight legs, no animosity towards Stipe. It appeared as though he now lacks it. And if that were the case, why should he? He entered to test his mettle against the finest of all time, but he was unsuccessful. Although this may spark some debate, I find it somewhat detracts from Jon Jones. He defeated him practically hand-to-hand. Even though it wasn't exactly a demolition, I did give Stipe a second round. For Jon Jones, it was practically perfect. Even if Jon Jones defeated that Stipe version, I wasn't impressed." In his last fight, Jones gave fans a candidate for Knockout of the Year, even if he doesn't end up meeting Tom Aspinall. In his answer to the UFC's post, Jon Jones suggested a bout for the future. "Double champ in Glory Kickboxing," Jon said. "Winner of 2 UFC championships, here you have the be all day button, just do it. Any 2 taps will do." Netflix facing legal action in Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson case on Friday night. During the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson card, the streaming service kept going down and fight fans were ready to throw their hands up in frustration. Many viewers had trouble seeing the scrap due to low video quality or were unable to access it at all. Fans took to social media to express their frustration with the technical issues, which appeared to worsen throughout the night. As reported by TMZ on Tuesday, a Florida fan has sued Netflix in a class action complaint, claiming that the streaming service violated their contract because of the numerous issues with streaming. Damon Martin of MMA Fighting emphasized the event's success despite all the issues. Global viewership for Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson reaches a maximum of 108 million. Katie Taylor vs. Amanda Serrano also becomes the most-watched professional women's sports event in U.S. history, according to Netflix, and also becomes the most streamed worldwide sporting event in history overall. Next, he made a second post mentioning how, when the UFC's arrangement with ESPN expires, Netflix is anticipated to bid for the media rights. "I don't know if this will convince Netflix to bid for the UFC rights next year, but it certainly gets me curious about their potential involvement in combat sports." Moreover, a third of the 282 million subscribers saw the bout. Totally insane. On Tuesday's Ariel Helwani show, Ariel Helwani also commented on the event's success. According to Netflix, more than 108 million people throughout the globe watched Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson. So far, no sporting event has ever been streamed more than this one. Also, the most watched professional women's sports event in U.S. history was Katie Taylor vs. Amanda Serrano. The technological issues that occurred on Friday might have hurt Netflix's chances of securing the UFC as a partner in their next media rights contract. Updates on UFC fights. Take a look at today's UFC bout updates as we go into this weekend's UFC Fight Night Macau card. First up is a band and weight clash that Bernardo Sopai and Ricky Turcios added to the UFC 311 card in January. In the summer, Turcio lost to Junior, who was trained by Raul Rose, and in March, Sopai lost in his UFC debut. On February 1st, the Saudi Arabia show will also include a flyweight bout between Jasmine Jasudavicius and Mayra Bueno Silva. In contrast to Mayra Bueno Silva, who hasn't tasted victory since 2023, Jasudavicius is riding a 3-fight winning streak in which she has finished 2 of her 3 bouts. On the UFC Vegas 102 program, which takes place on February 15th, Julia Avila and Jacqueline Cavalcanti will compete later that month. After losing to Miocic in 2023, Avila will be eager to get back on track, while Cavalcanti has won 3 consecutive fights since entering the company. According to Red Corner MMA, the main event of the February 1st Saudi Arabian program will feature Izzy and Nasruddin Imavov. While we wait for confirmation from the UFC, MMA aficionado Alex Bohunin also hinted of a major fight for Imavov on Tuesday, keeping fans on high alert. Lastly, for those interested in fight news, Jeremy Stephens and Eddie Alvarez will square off on January 25th in Philadelphia as part of the Knucklemania 5 program. Taking into account his position as a financier, the bout between the two could end up being performed by Conor McGregor. Boxing match included Darren Till's MMA threat against Tommy Fury. Some followers of combat sports found the idea that McGregor might knock Mayweather down or even unleash a kick as funny. On January 18th, Darren Till may kick Tommy Fury, despite the fact that McGregor refrained from throwing caution to the wind and unleashing Mayweather with mixed martial arts tactics. At Tuesday's news conference, Till threatened to head kick Fury if the latter was unable to defeat him. "Ultimately, I will simply kick you in the face if I am unable to defeat you. Consider that. I will strike you square in the face if I am losing this fight. Uncertainty will engulf you." Till appeared unmoved by Tommy Fury's threat to engage in a real battle if Till kicked him in the face. He continued by asserting that, as an MMA fighter, he would win in such a confrontation. Subsequently, security had to intervene after Big John Fury, who is Tommy's father, began a brawl by hurling water at Till from across the table during the press conference. Fans are already worried about Till's body after viewing a video of him shadowboxing for the cameras, even though the fight isn't until January 18th. During his post-fight Octagon interview with Joe Rogan, Stipe Miocic declared his retirement after being finished by Jon Jones on Saturday. Despite the lack of a major homage from the UFC, the former heavyweight champion finally spoke out about his retirement and the loss in a lengthy Instagram post on Monday. Miocic reflected on his rise from brawler to Saturday night's main attraction at MSG and showed a highlight reel of images and videos from his career. Along with his wife and coaches, he expressed gratitude to his fans and opponents. "The W eluded me, and I'm sorry, but it's impossible to acquire them all. You can't always have your way. That is how beasts are. I suppose the best possible conclusion would be to have been fortunate enough to participate in this sport at all, since you can't really prepare for a flawless finish. I want to make you proud because you have all given me so much. Specifically Cleveland, Ohio, and Croatia. I could feel your presence at my side in every fight. To my detractors, I am eternally grateful. Each and every one of you taught me something. Visiting War Brothers was a privilege. And lastly, to the audience, you are the driving force behind this sport. What makes mixed martial arts so incredible are people like you. We warriors would be nothing without you. Your adrenaline surge as we walk down to the octagon will remain with me always. For that, I am grateful, always appreciative. It has been an incredible journey." In addition to his retirement announcement, Miocic mentioned that he is working on a few initiatives that fight fans should be aware of. In addition to returning to his podcast, he will be providing fans with detailed analysis of all of his fights. His legacy in mixed martial arts will live on, regardless of whether he won or lost on Saturday. After Colby Covington's bout with Joaquin Buckley was confirmed for UFC Tampa, Ian Garry unleashes his fury on him. Here is the message that Ian conveyed to Colby. "Go out and put that man to sleep with you by your side the whole way. I humbly beg you. Permit me to do it. Why? Because he can't hold a candle to me." Important remarks. Remove Nichols' card from the main hand. He is more effective in the early preliminary rounds. Bo informed him that his teammates thought he did a good job. Telling your mom you're handsome is the same thing, dude. She will, of course, lie. What gives Bo Nickel the willies over the commentary? I agree with what they said. Since Jake Paul defeated Mike Tyson, who was 58 years old, according to Dana's reasoning, he ought to be ranked first in the world for pound boxing. Similar to how Jon defeated Stipe, a 42-year-old who hasn't fought in nearly 4 years despite being monitored. It is funny and incredibly naive of Bo to confess that he solely considered the opinions of his followers. The all-time great and former two-division champion Cormier has no idea what he's seeing. According to my yes men, it was a complete triumph. Delulu land is where Bo is.